we know a lot about Khamzat. We know that, first of all, we know that style, that seek and destroy, throw yourself into the fire style. And maybe you're cutting the weight easy. It depends on the person, I guess. Because some people are cutting the weight easy.
Really?
Yeah, some people are being, there's people that cut a get load of weight, but some people are being pretty smart about it. I think 85 to 70 is really good. Khamzat,
he's big.
He's fucking huge.
I remember we saw him backstage in Florida, I think.
Nobody's finished Izzy like that in a fight. Ever. Whenever you have these exchanges and you see these winging punches come Izzy's way, anything can happen. Yeah, and when you're tired and you're not moving back as good as you were in the second tap, you got to give it up.
It's hard for me to give it up to him. I don't know why.
UFC 319 is coming soon, and Joe Rogan has finally talked about the fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title. Joe Rogan shared his respect for Khamzat Chimaev, saying his ground control looks like it belongs to a completely different sport. He said that in grappling, Chimaev does not just beat his opponents, he dominates them in a way that no one else in the division can.
The Khamzat's skill is so high level, it makes me wonder. It appears that in terms of like the grappling that he possesses seems magnitudes greater than anybody else in his division.
Joe Rogan gave his opinion on Khamzat Chimaev's skills, saying they are so advanced that it makes you wonder how someone like Dricus du Plessis can handle them. He praised du Plessis for being strong, tough, and skilled in both wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but Rogan also said he is not sure if that will be enough to deal with Chimaev's non-stop pressure style.
Like, this was just a overwhelming victory. Khamzat just charged in, dove in, got him down, and mauled him until he broke his face.
Do you think it's different with du Plessis? Because he can wrestle.
He can wrestle. He's got very good jiu-jitsu. He hits hard, and he's a big, durable dude. But I don't know if he's going to be able to wrestle with that guy. Like, I don't know, man. The Khamzat's skill is so high level, it makes me wonder.
Joe Rogan called Dricus du Plessis straight up scary and said his size gives him a big advantage, especially after his recent win, where stamina and breathing made a huge difference. He mentioned that du Plessis uses a strange stuttering style that makes him unpredictable. Rogan said this awkward movement is actually very technical and hard to copy, which gives him a real edge in fights.
Dricus is scary. That's a guy who's so big for 85.
The way he looked against, I didn't give him a chance against Robert Whitaker, and boy was I wrong.
After he got a deviated septic surgery, which
I
think, it's a big factor.
Yeah,
being able to breathe out of your nose.
If you can't breathe, you can't fight.
Yeah. But it's Dricus looks awkward when he fight. He moves different, but that movement and that awkwardness makes him difficult to time. It's like his timing is off.
Yeah,
and if you don't have anybody that can imitate that kind of stutter step motion that he does, it's deceptively technical. Deceptive.
Caio Borralho said he is supporting Khamzat Chimaev, but also admitted that he is usually wrong when he bets against Dricus du Plessis. He joked that Dricus always proves him wrong and shuts him up every time. Caio said the fight might end fast, just like Khamzat's fight with Whitaker, and guessed there is a 60% chance Khamzat finishes it early, but he also gave Dricus a 40% chance to survive the early pressure using his size and strength, which could turn the fight in his favor in the later rounds.
What do you think it's going to take for DDP to stuff the takedowns in here and still?
Bro, this is crazy because I always bet against DDP and he always shut in my mouth. But I'm feeling like this can be a fight as fast as the fight with Khamzat and Whitaker. Like finishing the first round or beginning of the second round, 60% of me say that Khamzat will finish this fight like real fast, but 40% says that Dricus, with his size and height and his weight, he's a big guy for the division. I think he can stop the takedowns or even survive the first two rounds, and then the fight gets better for him. So I'm 60-40 on these two options.
In an earlier interview, Caio Borralho picked Khamzat Chimaev to win, saying that most fighters train the wrong way. By practicing with regular wrestlers, he explained that Chimaev uses a different type of MMA grappling, which is much harder to deal with. And stopping him means understanding his entire game, not just blocking takedowns.
Khamzat fighting against Dricus. Who do you think he wins?
I think Khamzat is going to win because I don't see anyone preparing properly for Khamzat. They are bringing wrestlers to train them to defend takedowns and all that, but Khamzat doesn't do the normal stuff. Khamzat doesn't do wrestling. He does MMA wrestling. it's different. You need to understand his system, what he wants next. You need to understand this first, and then you start to prepare for him. And I think Khamzat's going to win for me.
Former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson also shared his opinion on the big middleweight fight, saying that controlling the pace will be key. He pointed out that if Dricus du Plessis keeps the fight on the feet and avoids the ground, his unusual striking style could give him an advantage. Johnson also said that Chimaev has had trouble keeping up his pace in longer fights, which could help du Plessis later on, but he warned that Chimaev's wrestling danger will still be there, and du Plessis needs to stay focused from start to finish.
If Chimaev cannot get him down,
he will. But yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him, Couldn't get him. The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever, but if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is going to do what he does best. He's going to be awkward. He's going to be, do the kicks. And I think DDP is going to beat him.
Yeah.
Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old, what did he say? The lanky man style. I think DDP is going to put in the bag.
In a talk with John Onik, Kenny Florian talked about how explosive Khamzat Chimaev is right from the start. He mentioned a conversation with Brian Petrie, who said Chimaev might be the most dangerous first-round fighter in UFC history, and Florian agreed with that point. He talked about Chimaev's quick win over Robert Whittaker, saying that whether it is grappling or striking, Chimaev has the power to finish fights before they even get going.
Petrie and I were talking about this, but Petrie was saying he's probably the best first-round fighter in UFC history, and he could be right. And people forget, we just saw him, crush the jaw of Robert Whittaker. Yes, he can do that as well. So he can take you down and maul you. He can submit you. And he can knock your ass out on the feet as well. And he can do it in a blink of an eye. That's how explosive Khamzat Chimaev is.
Kenny Florian also shared his thoughts on the fight, saying he is excited to see what happens if one of the fighters can survive the early pressure. He said the early rounds are always wild when a pressure fighter is involved, but the real test comes if the fight goes into the later rounds. Florian said that winning a tough decision would show more about a fighter's full skill set than just a quick finish. What keeps him interested is how their fighting styles might clash over time in unpredictable ways.
If DDP is able to survive the early rounds against that whirlwind juggernaut in Khamzat Chimaev, that's when the fight gets really interesting to me. And I said this, and I've been thinking about this a lot. If Khamzat is able to win the fight by decision, that would be more impressive to me than in an early finish against DDP. But dude, that fight can go so many different ways. That's what makes this sport and the UFC so intriguing. I can't wait for that day.
Ikram Aliskerov predicted a tough back-and-forth fight, but in the end, he picked Chimaev to win. He said Chimaev has a well-balanced skill set and is strong both in striking and grappling, which he thinks will make the difference. He gave credit to du Plessis for being tough, unpredictable, and able to break opponents' rhythm, but Aliskerov still believes that Chimaev's ability to adjust during the fight will help him get the victory.
Chimaev, I think, is good, very good. You see this last fight with Whittaker, and not last, all his fight, he have everything. He have good wrestling, grappling, and striking. But he's a not simple guy, Plessis, all the fight, all people think about this fight he lose, this fight but he not lose. He's win anybody, brother. It's a good fight. But I think, I hope Chimaev win.
Meanwhile, UFC legend Michael Bisping said that Dricus du Plessis is a real threat because of his size, power, and grappling skills. But he also thought that fighting at 185 pounds might actually help Khamzat Chimaev. Bisping said that having more natural weight could help Chimaev recover faster and train better, which might give him improved endurance. He also questioned why more fighters do not think about moving up a weight class when it could clearly improve their performance.
Dricus du Plessis is gigantic for a middleweight as well. He's a very, very strong guy. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He's got excellent conditioning. Now, the conditioning is going to be key for Khamzat because moving up to 185, the conditioning will be improved. The strength will be improved. He can take on more nutrients. He can recover better between training sessions. I don't know why everyone doesn't move up a weight class. I said this on a video yesterday, and I'm saying it again right now. Everyone just move up a weight class, okay? The sport will be better.
Chael Sonnen also shared his thoughts on the matchup, saying he understands why Khamzat Chimaev is the favorite, and he would probably pick him to win. But he also said there is still a lot of uncertainty about how the fight will play out. He said the first round is the most important. If Chimaev takes control early, he might dominate the fight. But if Du Plessis can handle the early pressure and stay strong, the momentum could shift in his favor as the fight continues.
Is it a surprise that Chimaev is a favorite? No, I would expect him to be. But I also feel as though if I were predicting this today, I would lean Chimaev. As long as you didn't ask me a follow-up question. Like if I told you, hey, I think Chimaev's going to beat Dricus. Okay, great. If we all get up and walk out of the room, we're fine. The problem is if you're going to ask me how is he going to beat him? Because I am not fully confident that Chimaev can take him down at will. I'm not fully confident he can keep him there. We're going to know in the very first round. If Dricus gets taken down in the first round, things are going to unravel very quickly. But if he can defend a takedown for the entire first 5 minutes, it's only going to get easier to stay on your feet after that. It's an exciting match. I would expect Chimaev to be the favorite. And he is.
Chael Sonnen questioned whether Dricus Du Plessis would be able to stop or even counter Chimaev's grappling skills. He said Chimaev usually takes control from the start, but this fight feels more evenly matched than usual. Sonnen said that this uncertainty is what makes the fight more exciting than people might think at first.
Is he good enough to defend the takedowns of Chimaev? Let's go further with it. Is he good enough to take Chimaev down? I've never seen Chimaev lose a stand-up fight. I want you to know how good Dricus is at a stand-up fight. Do you believe that Chimaev can tackle this man? Chimaev has gotten on top of everybody with no exception inside of 5 minutes. And you guys remember the Robert Whitaker fight. He came right across the ring, got him right down right away. Chimaev versus Dricus feels different. What a match. Dricus Du Plessis, world champion. It's not quite as obvious that he couldn't go with Alex Pierre. It's not quite as obvious as it felt. It's not quite as obvious that he can't go with Chimaev. Things feel very different right now.
Ali Abdelaziz also shared his view on the fight, saying that when Khamzat Chimaev is healthy and fully focused, it is hard to bet against him. He said that any past cardio problems were because of Chimaev's fight with COVID, which had a big effect on him. But now that Chimaev is training again in Russia and fully focused, Ali expects to see a much better version of him. At the same time, he showed respect to Dricus Du Plessis, calling him a tough fighter who never gives up and often finds ways to win in surprising ways.
Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. How do you feel about this fight, and where do you see this fight?
Remember, Khamzat never have a conditioning problem before this. After COVID, it really messed him up. And I was there. He was bleeding, like throwing up like blood. It was, and he was in Vegas, right? But as far as I know now, he's in Russia. He's in camp. He's focused. It's hard to bet against focused Khamzat, healthy Khamzat, but also this Du Plessis guy. Like the way he wins, I was like, how this guy win? You know, like he's just so tough, so durable. He's a warrior, man. He really is a warrior.
Meanwhile, Paulo Costa shared his thoughts on UFC 319, saying the fight is hard to predict, but he is leaning a little toward Dricus Du Plessis. He thinks Du Plessis has the calm to handle Khamzat Chimaev's early pressure and stay strong. Costa also questioned if Khamzat can keep the same energy in the later rounds and suggested that cardio might be the deciding factor.
It's hard to predict something, but I think Dricus is more solid. He can resist the very first rush from Chimaev, gourmet chain, and then we never know after the third round how Chimaev can, you know, if he can sustain his energy after the third round. So I think this is my question.
MMA Guru said he is not completely sure how the fight will go. He used to support Dricus Du Plessis and still slightly favors him, mostly because he thinks Du Plessis is very strong and hard to control. But he also said Khamzat Chimaev fights on a different level, especially in the first round, when he is most dangerous. While rooting for Du Plessis, Guru agreed that if Chimaev wins, it will probably happen in the first few minutes of the fight.
DDP? I don't know anymore, man. These guys are... I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. And I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this.
Yeah.
But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way.
Yeah.
But now I'm real.
Yeah.
You know, I also want DDP to win, but I'm leaning towards DDP.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea of Chimaev is a round one guy.
Yeah.
You know? If he takes out DDP in round one.
MMA Guru suggested a different plan for Dricus du Plessis. He said du Plessis should not just defend against Khamzat Chimaev. Instead of waiting, du Plessis should start strong and try an early takedown to surprise Chimaev. Guru explained that Chimaev is used to taking control from the start, so if du Plessis changes, that by applying early pressure, it could upset Chimaev. If du Plessis can shake Chimaev's confidence early, it might reduce Chimaev's strong drive to finish the fight quickly.
So this is why I don't think DDP should go out there like, got to stuff the takedown. Get on his hips before you.
Yep.
You know, and if he stuffs it, so be it. It'll be the least thing he expects. And for a second, Chimaev, who's a killer, he's a murderer. He goes out there, I'm going to drag this guy in the first round, destroy him. For a second, he goes, if you can snap that on Chimaev for a second, Whitaker, he never had a moment in that fight where he thought, what's going on?
It was he got me back.
He was complete composure. Same with Usman. Burns had him re-second guess himself.
Yep.
But all the good first rounds he's had, there's never been a snap in his mental game. That always happens in the later rounds. But if DDP shoots on him, there's a moment in Chimaev's head where he goes, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's not this killer in a fight.
MMA Guru said that even if Khamzat Chimaev stops the takedown attempt, Dricus du Plessis can still change the momentum by using scrambles, guard recovery, or hitting from the bottom. He warned that the real danger is getting stuck under Chimaev in side control, where he is strongest, especially now that knees to the head on the ground are allowed. Guru said du Plessis must stay active and make smart moves on the ground to avoid being overwhelmed.
He's asking a question. He's on my hips.
Yeah.
And if he sprawls it, if he gets the whizzer and throws DDP over, and why did DDP do that? Now DDP can go, well, I'm going for a leg.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a leg. See how he deals with this?
Yep.
I'm going to get guard back.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can elbow him off bottom position. It's much easier to survive in guard than it is for someone to have
side control
with their body lock, and they can punch you, especially now with knees and you can't play the hand game. Don't get caught up.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in those positions.
Julian Arosa noticed the excitement around Khamzat Chimaev and described Dricus du Plessis as awkward but effective. He said that unpredictable styles can still be very dangerous. While Arosa leans toward Chimaev and thinks he has championship potential, he still sees du Plessis as a serious threat in the fight.
Wow, I mean, Chimaev has so much hype around him, and du Plessis is like such an awkward fighter, but he somehow gets it done. The styles make the matchups, and people's like, you can't discount somebody because they have a funky style if they make it work for themselves. So I gotta go with Chimaev though. I think he just one of those guys that's above, levels above the competition. But you can't count out du Plessis. But I think Chimaev's going to be the champ.
Chris Gutierrez said the fight is hard to predict, but he gives a small edge to Dricus du Plessis. He said du Plessis often lands good shots by reacting quickly with sharp instincts and timing. Even though his moves look awkward, Gutierrez believes this unpredictability makes him a real threat and could decide the fight.
Who's going to win this one? I don't know, man. That one's a hard one because DDP just, it's like he just makes, combinations up midway through the fight and somehow they work for him. I don't know. I think that clumsiness that he brings to the fight, I think that helps him. You know what? I'm going to pick DDP on that one.
Khamzat Bako said people often underestimate Dricus du Plessis, but he sees the fight as a real challenge for Khamzat Chimaev. He acknowledged Chimaev's strength and skill to control opponents, but still expects a close fight. In his opinion, Chimaev has a slight advantage around 55%, but it is not a sure win.
Everybody underestimates the champion, Dricus du Plessis, but I think it's going to be not easy fight for Khamzat Chimaev. But Khamzat Chimaev also strong. He destroyed a lot of fighters, and but I still think it's going to be close fight, and who knows who's gonna win? Maybe 55%. It's Chimaev. like that. You know?
Ben Thomas shared his thoughts on the fight, saying he thinks Dricus du Plessis has a real chance to beat Khamzat Chimaev. He knows Chimaev is very dangerous early on, but believes if du Plessis can survive the first storm, he has what it takes to change the momentum. Den said du Plessis' toughness and calmness under pressure are important and could help him wear Chimaev down and cause a big upset as the fight continues.
You think Dricus beats Khamzat?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
I do. I really do. I think Khamzat is a sprinter. I think if you were to make fights 1 5-minute round, Khamzat beats anybody in the world, any weight class. But you can't fight championship level fights for 5 rounds at the pace where he's at his best. If he fights like that at his best, I think Dricus is so durable and he's so smart that he'll be able to withstand that. Now they're swimming in deep water, and Khamzat can't swim that deep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Den Thomas believes Dricus du Plessis has the best chance to win if the fight goes into the later rounds. He thinks Khamzat Chimaev might start to slow down once he sees du Plessis is not giving up and keeps pushing the pace. According to Den, du Plessis' good conditioning and smart fight IQ could help him wear down Khamzat, break his rhythm, and change the momentum as the fight goes on.
So what do you think? It just goes into the championship rounds and he figures them out?
Yeah. I think that by the 3rd round, Khamzat's like, all right, I don't really know. I can't, this guy's not going away. Wow. And also too, is if Khamzat does, let's say he does pace himself a little better, Dricus will just pour it on him.
Right.
So I think that pacing is a big factor. We always talk about this cardio thing, but cardio is really just being able to manage whatever pace you have based on the skill set you have. That's really what it comes down to. Like if you have a very limited skill set and you're forced to be in situations that you're not comfortable in, you're going to have bad cardio. But when you have a very well-rounded skill set and you can pace yourself better, you're going to have good cardio. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
So that is all we have from today's video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Please share your predictions for this fight in the comments section and subscribe to our channel to get more UFC updates.